So to continue, what we have here is a side-by-side of the Doric order. That's that very simple one. Remember, we can tell that by the flat column top. And the Ionic order, again named after these kind of volute-topped columns. The capitals are kind of like in a scroll, or I've heard it called a ram's horn. So we lose this triglyph metope format, and it becomes a flat frieze. And we still have the frieze embellished, but we don't just have the metope to be able to do that, and we can do it the whole order of the frieze. We also see at the bottom, it gets a little fancier. The Doric column was just sitting on the stylobate on the stairs here, and now we have more of a formal base for the column. Dental molding still going around. You saw it kind of smaller here, but more intense along the cornice, but also in the inside. And inside that pediment, that's what this triangle is called. Again, we'll talk about that later. You would have carvings as well. The third style that you see is kind of fancy, that acanthus leaf kind of top, sometimes even with the volutes in there as well, and other kinds of designs with the column and an even fancier base, different levels of dental and other kind of egg and dart moldings and all sorts of things. So just three different styles of embellishment for the temples: Doric, Ionic, and then Corinthian is what we call these capitals. So again, more about that as we go, particularly in the Greek, in the Roman material. We'll talk more about the Corinthian style of capitals. And this is a close-up of the Corinthian kind of capital. You see it's kind of the fanciest of all three of them. And this is just side by side so you can see them. And you will need to know what all these are. You can see this in the Ionic, where the frieze is decorated all the way. Here we just have the decorations in the metope, and sometimes decorations, sometimes not in the Corinthian. So the Hellenistic is the last art period that we'll look at. During the Hellenistic period, as it's mentioned in your book and in other lecture material, this is a really kind of the little past Greece's glory days, I guess you could say. A little more cosmopolitan. We have large numbers of people from all over congregating in Athens and other large cities, and a lot of different languages, and a lot going on. And it's kind of a little more wild, the art is. You see, it's very emotional. In the classical period, the art is very calm, right? Even though there's a sense of movement, the art is very calm. Here we see, in the Hellenistic period, very wild. You see the muscles under the skin. You see, this is the Laocoon. This is the fellow who tried to warn the Trojans not to bring the Greek horse in, and he was punished for that. The snakes were sent from the sea to strangle him and his two sons. But you see the obvious pain. This one's trying to get the serpent off from around his foot. Again, the draperies are all very minutely carved. The expressions in the face are carved. The hair, very overly realistic, almost caricature at times. We see, the ideal of classical beauty, right? That there were classical male figures, the straight nose, the curls, but very regulated, a certain body type. Would have seen the same thing for females as well. Very classic, simplistic beauty. But now, during the Hellenistic period, you're seeing everyday people depicted in sculpture as well. This is an old drunk woman. The statue is called. We'll see marketplace women, women going shopping with baskets on their arms, old people, disheveled. You can see her clothes are sliding off her shoulders. But again, great detail. Her nose, her toes, her toenails, her head thrown back. We see kind of everyday objects, children we start seeing now in art, animals, and these are called genre pieces. Genre, G-E-N-R-E, genre. Just every day. So again, pictures, sculptures of goats and cows and chickens and little boys and little girls playing. Just everyday sorts of depictions. And that is